Welcome to the Mastering Pitch Workshop. I'm so excited and happy that you all are here today. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to read in the comments, but while people are still joining, if you haven't taken that poll on a scale of 1 to 4, what is your pitchiness level? 1 being almost always pitchy, 4 being almost never pitchy. It would help me a lot because I want to tailor make this to you guys, and I have a plan, but we're going to ask some questions. I'm going to hear from you, and that's one of the ways that I can kind of get a better pulse on what kind of singers we all have in this webinar together. So answer that poll for me. I'm going to be checking the answers shortly. If you haven't done so already, also please download these 2 apps, and I couldn't give you pictures in the chat, so I'm going to show you my phone. It's these 2 apps. It's this Tone Deaf Test one, backwards, Tone Deaf Test, and this Pitch one right here, these 2. Okay, and we're going to later in this particular day be doing the Tone Deaf Test and using the Pitch app. We will also be using the Pitch app throughout these next 3 days. I also want to let you guys know it's very beneficial for you to be in all 3 days because I'm doing cumulative work on pitch every single day. So today's will be the foundation, tomorrow we'll build on top of today's, and Friday we'll build on top of the past 2 days. So be sure that you stick around all the way to the end. And I also have a very special offer for those who are in all the way to Friday. So if you haven't registered, or if you're seeing this live and you're like, oh, I saw this live and I didn't necessarily register for it, then you can go to the link in the description and get your email address in there so that you can also see that special offer. So pitch, right? Like something so simple. I know a lot of you think, oh, like Tara's like a celebrity vocal coach. She coaches people all over the world. Why is she doing a workshop on something so simple as pitch? Well, it's because of you, actually. So I did a community poll a while back, and I was asking people, like, what's your biggest vocal pain point, or at least one of them? And it was staggering, the answers being related to pitch. Like they may not have been like the word pitch, but the problem was pitch. And I was like, wow, you know, that's literally the foundation of singing. And I think that if we have a chink in our learning chain, then anything we build on top of is weakened. And so I figured, why not tackle the absolute bottom foundation of what makes singing sound like a song, and make sure that we all have a really clear understanding of that. Because guys, if you're on this webinar, you know as well as I do that singing can change your life and the lives around you. I know that it's changed mine. I've been singing on stage since I was 3. And from the very first second that I hit that green platform looking out at that stained glass cross in the back of my church, I knew I had this voice in my head that said, this is what you're going to do the rest of your life. And you're going to pour out into others and teach them how to do the same. And I never deviated. I never changed one time. And it has changed my life. And I know that music changes yours. And I'm going to actually give you some scientific facts as to why in a few minutes. So in case you guys are here because of, say, Candace Cameron Bure's post, or Lauren Lott's post, or Angelica's post online, and you don't know much about me, I'm Tara Simon. I have a YouTube channel with over 1 million subs. I've been a professional vocalist all of my life since that day when I was 3 on stage. And my life's purpose now is to pour into the lives of others, you guys, people who love to sing, who may not necessarily make an amazing perfect noise, but do make a joyful noise and want to be better. And I've really had some amazing success stories in creating and building pro voices out of singers. And I'm wanting to give you a couple examples, but actually I'm intentionally not giving you sound with it. I just want you to see, going back to my point that singing is life-changing, I want you to see the looks on these 2 singers' faces. So the first one I'm going to give you is Angelica Hale. And before I show you the video, Angelica came to me right before she was on America's Got Talent. And she happened to make history in receiving 2 golden buzzers in the course of being on the show a couple times. The first time she won the golden buzzer and was 2nd place in the whole thing. And then she was invited back on AGT Champions and won the golden buzzer again. And I was able to train her through that entire process as her vocal coach. And she was littler then, she's a little older now, but look at the life-changing moment and facial expression she made when she received this golden buzzer. Look at the face. I mean, it just really doesn't get much better than that. life changed, right? Goal met, life changed, inspiration had, motivation created. Now, here's another one. So Lauren, for those of you who are fans of Lauren Cherise Lott, she's got like 1 million on TikTok. She's been on Broadway. She's been on American Idol. And I've been her coach for over 10 years, like back when she was even like in Atlanta completing college. And I was casting for a Disney audition. And I remember seeing her out of the crowd. And I was like, this girl is so good. And I know that I can make her great. Like I can make her a star. And so the Disney people did not cast her, actually. And due to the color of her skin, I'm sad to say. And so I took her resume out of the pile and I called her up and I said, Lauren, I was very impressed with you today. And I told them to give you the lead role. They did not. However, if you let me coach you, I promise you, I'm going to get you to Broadway in 5 years or less, or I will give you all of your money back from coaching. Biggest bet I made on myself ever, by the way, up till recently. And I can proudly say in 4.5 years, she was on Broadway. But even before then, she was, I think, top 12 in American Idol on her season. And check out the look on her face as her life was changed. That's her on Broadway. So that's me in New York with her at the end, training her for that Broadway show when she's in the red dress. That face for her in the red dress was everything to me, because what you don't know about that image is that when I first trained Lauren all those years back, the first song, I think one of the first, if not the first song we ever did was Waiting for Life to Begin by Once on This Island, which it's so crazy. The first Broadway debut she made as a lead was singing Waiting for Life to Begin in Once on This Island. And that in the red dress is her finishing that song. And I took that video and I was in the audience training her. And well, I was as her coach training her and in the audience cheering her on. So when I say singing is life changing, it really is. And it's not just for people like Angelica and Lauren that are innately talented and yes, have problems vocally. They have even pitch problems. We deal with that in regular weekly lessons, but it's also for people that are average people. And I want to give you one more little testimonial because this is very relatable to you. If you're watching this right now, I don't know what life situation you're in. I don't know where you come from or even where you live. But I do know that everybody deals with hard times and everybody deals with the mindset issues and the thoughts in our head that get to us and say that we're not enough and that we'll never be enough and we don't have what it takes, we don't have the resources and all of these things. And Jeff, who actually is on this right now. So Jeff, if you want to shout yourself out, I'm gonna show a small little snippet of an unsolicited testimonial that he gave us. It was like 8 minutes long, but I had to cut it down for time's sake. Jeff was either near homelessness or coming out of homelessness when he came to us. And Jeff had a really nice voice, but struggled a lot with mindset and with confidence because of all that he had been through. And his situation was just so tragic yet inspiring to me, how he still, and in this nevertheless, in spite of kind of mentality, said yes to himself and took a chance on us as coaches and me in particular, and allowed us to just breathe life into his voice and into his spirit once again. And we taught him theoretical, hard, tangible differences that he can put into practice with his voice. And this is what he had to say in the small little snippet that I edited.
I feel like y'all gave me the ability to see the theory behind the music, and you gave me the ability to start processing things for myself, and that is so meaningful. It's just, I mean, I'm just thankful.
I just love that. The just overwhelming gratitude poured out because yes, lives do change. And there's people in the chat saying, well done, buddy. There's even friends of Jeff in the chat who also took this voice on course that Jeff was in to change his voice, who are here right now. I believe Belle's here as well. Shout out to you guys. So getting into the scientific reasons, which I promised, and how singing and being able to sing on pitch is actually and absolutely, unequivocally life-changing. I'm going to put a little link in the chat here for you to follow along, and you can actually read the whole article later. It's from healthline.com. And I'm just going to give you some bullet points on what it says. So The scientific evidence that singing is good for you and for your overall health is overwhelming. This is actually just one article, but if you look that up, you're going to find it everywhere. It relieves stress. It stimulates the immune response. It increases your pain threshold. Like, I had no idea, but I do have a high threshold for pain, so that makes sense. It increases your pain threshold. It improves your lung function. Makes perfect sense. It enhances your memory. It helps you with grief. It improves speaking abilities, and that's just to name a few. I mean, we haven't really gotten into like the whole mental state of the confidence and all that stuff as well. But these are just a few of the scientific evidences of singing being good and beneficial for your overall health. So on top of the fact that it can change others' lives around you, which we are going to get into also, this is a life-changing experience. And I think it's really important to know, and I want you to get this, like I'm actually going to repeat it twice. It is a birthright of every human being, not a privilege to a select few to be able to sing. Did you hear me? I'm going to say it again, because I hear this all over the world. People say, oh, well, you're just born singing that way, or I was just born that way, or I'm not born that way, and so I cannot. So it's I'm not this, and therefore I cannot. And it's this limiting belief that stops people dead in their tracks every single time. And it literally is stealing your birthright as a human. So I'm going to say it one more time. It is a birthright of every human being that is alive on this earth, not a privilege to a select few to be able to sing. So I want you to put in the chat, what are some of the fears and insecurities you have when it comes to singing? So I'm just going to give a second for that, because it's a really important question. And I want to ask that to you all and get it put in the chat, because I want to address some specific ones. I'm going to call you guys out. I might even put your statement on the screen. So don't be shy. What are some specific fears and insecurities that you have when it comes to singing? And of course, in relation to pitch as well, right? And if you want to answer also, if you're like a beginner singer, intermediate, or pro, that's also good to know, because guys, pitch, I know this workshop is on pitch and you think, oh, that's a beginner skill. No, it's not. If you're a pro on here, if you're an intermediate or advanced singer and you're gigging or you're auditioning, this is so much for you. It's not even funny, because I guarantee you, there are things about your pitch that are keeping you from getting bigger gigs, from landing bigger roles, and from getting those callbacks that you're looking for. And we're going to deal with that today too. And I'll give you a little spoiler alert to that. It's all in the connecting notes. And you may not even realize what you're doing, but I'm going to show you exactly what you're doing and how to fix it soon. So looking in these answers here, which there are a lot of them, so thank you so much for being transparent. So let's see, Catherine Walsh, she says she's a beginner and she feels that she's very out of tune. Let's see, Miracle League says, definitely my pitch and switching keys. Okay, like changing key signatures within the context of one song. This is so real right here, Travonia, being laughed at and not sounding right. Being laughed at. Whew. Now, I wonder, have you ever actually been laughed at, or is that the fear, right? By Kim, I think I don't sound nice. I've been told opposite, but I hear myself and I don't think it's pleasant. Ooh, so our inner ear, right? What is our inner ear telling us? Oh, let's see. This is just a simple word, but it's so true to Monique Rogers, judgment. The fear of judgment. Here's another one. My insecurity is voice cracking and not being able to hit high notes because my voice is naturally low, Nelly, which is a thing for female singers. You know, where there's kind of like this shame culture around women who can't sing high, or women who just sing low. But Toni Braxton made a whole career out of that back in the day. I'm just saying. But I get it. Like, you want what you don't have. Makes sense. Someone says everything. Let's see. Going off pitch is another. And this is so real too. Christopher Lee Weon, in all honesty, not really knowing how. Because pitch is assumed in so many ways. Celeste Myers, that I don't sound as great or melodic as others, and my pitch as well. Rena Rose, stage fright, lacking confidence. That's really true. Okay, we've got a pro and advanced singer here. So I encourage you to tell me what your possible singers are. Erica Thomas, going from chest or head to chest voice. So there's a difference. Going from chest to head might be easy for someone. Going from head to chest might be more difficult. For me, Erica, you're in good company. It's more difficult for me to go from head to chest. I have to try harder, pay a little more attention to that. So I totally feel you there. That's valid, totally valid. Let's see, I'm gonna scroll down a little more. Okay, Martin, I'm scared I won't be good enough to entertain or impress people and afraid of disappointing others. So do you guys notice a through line in what I'm hearing and in what I'm reading here? Ooh, Jenny Atkins, Annie says, what others think. Yeah, so good. Lack of confidence is another, shaky voice, shortness of breath. We've got an intermediate here that's saying the same thing. A pro person that's saying singing off key, and I think I don't sound good. Yeah, so, okay. I think that's enough. I think you guys get the point, all right? Oh, so I have to say this one too. This is really good. Sounding off. Oh, this is Belle. This is Jeff's friend. Hey, Belle. Sounding off. That's why this is so valuable. Mahalo. This is a gift. I love you, Belle. Belle was in my Voice On course as well, and made great friends with Jeff because he was in the same cohort. And Belle has a beautiful tone and a beautiful spirit and is so real, and that is so true. All right. So you guys are just so amazing. All of these comments flooding in, and I can't even keep up with them all. Someone even said age, marketability, valid. Okay, so does anybody notice the through line really in everything that I've mentioned so far? The fears and insecurities when it comes to singing. Anybody want to type in the chat what they think? It's really one word. It's one word. Anybody care to guess? It's so, to me, it's so apparent in all of these answers. If you scroll in the chat, it's just this one simple word. Aaliyah, you're really close. She said confidence. Yes. I mean, those are symptoms of this one word: doubt, insecurity, non-belief, confidence. Oh, you're the closest, Murphy. So I'm going to put yours on the screen. Mind state. It's mindset. Okay. That's really good. Good job, Murphy. Good job. Mindset. So I have a phrase actually, and it's a kind of a Taraism of the studio, and it goes like this: singing is 90% mental and 10% talent. So what that means, and I'm going to put it on, I believe in it so much, I'm going to put it on the screen right there. Singing is, say it with me, 90% mental, 10% talent. I made that up one day in a voice lesson, like, I don't know, 15 years ago. Don't look at my age. And I just blurted it out. It was almost like something was speaking through me. I don't have scientific facts on that, guys. Okay, I'm very cut and dry when it comes to scientific facts, and I like to back my stuff up. So I'm telling you right now, this is something that I said and I created. But I have in my lessons with thousands of people all over the world, both from beginner to celebrity status clients, proven this theory and this phrase over and over and over again. And it's from the basis of what you guys just commented on in the chat. All of those, and you can just read them back as I'm talking to you. It's mindset, because singing is 90% about what you think about and 10% the talent that you're given. The good news about that is that both can be changed. And I know you're probably sitting there thinking, yeah, well, I mean, you're a great singer and you were singing great since you were 3. I was singing good since I was 3, but I'd like to think that I've improved a lot since then, because the voice is a muscle, just like a bicep. If I do curls on this arm alone and I leave this one away, and let's say I injured it and it's got a cast on, what happens to an arm that's got a cast on when it comes off? Anybody? Yeah. When the cast is removed, the muscle is atrophied and you've got to rebuild that back up again. How much more so if that muscle was in a cast and you're doing curls on the other arm? There would be a bigger discrepancy between the two. And that is the same as the 10% talent. So since your voice, your larynx, your voice box, however you want to call it, since that is a muscle, okay, and muscles can atrophy or they can grow, the good news is for you, that 10% talent is growable. You can change that. You can grow that. You can increase your level of talent with methodical and technical work, just like you condition your body to run a marathon, lose weight, gain muscle, train for the Olympics, whatever you want to go for, okay? Sky's the limit. If you put in the dedication, you can do it. So the 10% talent thing is growable. The really nice thing about the 90% mental part is that you may be down talking to yourself now, and we're gonna actually, I'm gonna explain what that means in a second, but that 90% mental part is also changeable. And I want to get into that and like dig and unpack that real quick, okay? 90% mental means think about what you are thinking about. Has anyone ever done like a thought download? And I actually would, I think it'd be really fun, kind of scary, but a little fun if we all did that, starting maybe even today or tomorrow morning. I did this once and it was so eye-opening for me. To think about what you're thinking about means, not just as a singer, but as a person, from the moment you wake up, the subtext that runs on in your mind, you're telling yourself a narrative every day. You're causing yourself to believe something based on the things that you're telling your mind as you go through your day. And when we don't think about what we think about, usually those thoughts are bad, they're discouraging, they put you down, and they make you feel depressed, isolated, lonely, insecure, inferior, all of the in words, right? And I did this once, and I took a catalog list. And whenever I thought about what I was thinking about, I'd write the phrase down. And I actually have it in my phone. And I'm going to share it with you. Actually, this is like real talk here. Okay, we are getting so deep in the mud. But if I share mine with you, I want you to have the courage, because this is grimy stuff. This is like I've never actually shared this with anybody, and I actually kind of wish I didn't say I would, because it's really real. It's called a thought audit. Okay. And this was, oh my gosh, today's the 18th of October. This was a year ago. It was at 10:15 last year. Oof, this is so bad. Okay. But this is what I challenge you to do from the morning to the night. These were my thoughts about myself. I'm going to choose the wrong man, and this time it will ruin me and my son. I'm paralyzed by fear of this thought. I don't listen to the Holy Spirit enough. I overthink things. I am an imposter. I should just surrender. I have a broken picker. I can't trust my heart. I make bad decisions on a daily basis. I need and desire to do better all the time and yet fall short. I can't trust myself. Don't feel bad for me. It's okay, but okay. And then I had this thought, you're beautiful, like a shining moment out of nowhere, right? But you play it safe. I just want to sleep and rest. I'm so tired. But when I have the chance to, I don't. You're not doing things exactly right. Let's see. Can you have both hard work and peace? I don't know, these thoughts. I'm sick of feeling bad. I don't feel good. I'm so frustrated. Whew. I need some strength in my weakness. And then I just want peace. My heart hurts. I'm so sad. I just want to be held. I don't deserve rest is in here. Okay, I'm just going to stop there because it doesn't get much better. But this was in one day. My brain was being so mean to me, Erica. Yes. So critical. And I know, like, guys, you see me on YouTube. I've been like very public and very vocal and very social on all of these platforms for years. And I know you see me as like this very successful, very authoritative person. And while I do have a lot to offer you, I am still a person and I still have these thoughts, and I want to relate to you in this way, because if I'm thinking these things, I know that you are too. Especially if I do have a good voice. That is the unequivocal truth. And I can sing well. How much worse and how much more are the thoughts of my beloved terabytes and students and singing hopefuls out there who are watching this and who are not, who have problems with pitch and who may not be trained to sing as well. So someone's saying, I could have written that. Yeah. So I say all this to say, mindset and that singing being 90% mental, it is so real. And I want to share with you my fix. I had a thought audit fix. And so what I did was I took those thoughts and I turned them around the next day, and I intentionally wrote down affirmations for myself. And I'm going to read you those too, because and I didn't plan on doing this, by the way, but I actually feel like it's really important. Let me get to it real quick. This is like in the guts of my notes section, guys. Like this is in the I don't share this with anybody part of my life, but we're just gonna go for it. So my affirmations, if I can find them, here we go. My affirmations now, because of those thoughts, are: I am worthy of authentic and reckless love. I am made new. My voice is a light that pierces through the darkness. I am a catalyst for change and a pillar of faith. My mind is in touch with the universal source of positivity and confidence. I am a child of God who deserves good things. I deserve peace and rest because I am a hard worker. My purpose in life is to shout to the rooftops that people's voices matter. And because people's voices matter, mine does too. And I could kind of cry a little bit, but you can turn that around. And what that does, so let's get back to the science of it, right? What that does is it creates new neural pathways in your brain. Because when we think about what we think about, and when we realize it's bad, that creates a ridge in your brain, an actual physical ridge that is easier to go down on next time and the time after. And that's why habits are so hard to break, because in order to break those habits, you have to change that belief and that neural pathway and start forging a new one. So when you do affirmations like I did, and when you think about the thoughts and you realize they're bad or they're not positive, and you're being a bully to yourself and to your voice, you can speak truth into your voice and change that 90% mental from being down talk and bad to that 90% mental being life-giving, encouraging to yourself. You can be your best cheerleader and your number one wingman and confidant all on your own, even without any help. And I want that for you. Because if these are the voices in my head telling me these things, I know that they're the voices in your head telling you those as well. And you can steal my affirmations if you want. I don't mind. That's totally fine. So that's the mindset of it. And I want to speak to specific people on here, because going back to the poll, let's see our poll answers right now, because I do want. Okay. Our poll says that there are 43% of you think that you sing pretty well in pitch. Number 3, you did. So we have the most majority on number 2 and number 3. So 27% on a scale of 1 to 4, and 43% on a scale of 1 to 4 chose number 3. So we've got some mid-level, and then we got some people that are, like on the 1 and on the 4. So super beginner, super advanced, and that's awesome. So I want to speak to you guys on that right now. Okay. This is deep. Beginners. Fear of being heard is your number one wall that you have to break through in order to sing on pitch. It is not a vocal exercise. It is that. It's the mindset. And a lot of you guys admitted in this chat that that's your main hang up. But what if, and hear me out on this, what if you could imagine someone cheerleading for you and rooting your success on instead of your demise? Because it's the voice in your head first that tells you you're bad, and then it projects out into the public that they're also agreeing and falling in line with that same false belief in your head. But what if when you changed it and you affirmed yourself and you said, I deserve to be heard and my voice matters, that you imagined that someone else thought that about you too? And all of a sudden, then the fear of being heard is not maybe even gone completely, but is dissipated enough for you to try. Because if you can be kept silent, then you can be kept ineffective. You will never see progress. Okay. You will never see progress. So I want the beginners to think about that for a second. Now let's move to the intermediate or advanced people, because I got a word for you. Fear of imposter syndrome. I mean, that's where I live, to be quite honest. If I mess up, if I crack, or if I'm off pitch, or if my riffs and runs are muddy, which by the way, all of those things are inevitable to happen to every singer almost on a daily basis, okay? If I do that, the voice in my head says, and you think that you're a vocal coach? You think that you can tell other people what to do with their voice when you can't even do it perfectly yourself? Who do you think you are? And then all of a sudden there's this, maybe I'm right, bully in my head. So pro singers, there is an aversion for you because you're pro and because you're advanced that you even came to this because why do I need to learn how to sing on pitch? I'm like past that. That's like, kiddie pool stuff. No, it's not. And I'm going to prove it to you. And you're going to see, you pro singers, you tell me if I'm right or wrong when we start doing these exercises in a few minutes. You're going to see exactly just how much our actual live ear gives us allowances for being pitchy, and how we all have pitch issues at one point or another. So I wanna just also give you a little really cool visual example of pitch. But before I do, I want to ask you guys another question. So type this into the chat. Who knows what congenital amusia is? Anybody? I mean, lots of brownie points and no Googling it, okay? Nobody's allowed to Google it. Just tell me, does anybody know what congenital amusia is? Come on. Let me see you in the chat. Sarah C says no. Okay, well, at least you're honest. Thanks. Okay, we have a winner. Angela Moran. Being tone deaf. That's a very like straightforward, easy answer for it, right? It's a little more complicated than that. So I'm going to give you a little bit better of an explanation. So there are actually two types of amusia. The first is cognitive amusia, or congenital amusia, where it's actually very hereditary. First generation people usually have it. And so you can easily trace it back to heredity. And that's not a well-known fact, but so if, like, say you have amusia, chances are your mom, your grandma, your dad, your granddad, those people also have it too. It's very hereditary, like within almost 50% of people with congenital amusia. There's also a kind of like acquired amusia. So say if you were in a really bad car accident and you had brain damage, or you've had trauma to the head in some way, it is a brain kind of cognitive disorder. And so you can acquire it if you've had a significant amount of trauma to the head in your life. But the most common is congenital. Now, last question about this. How many people in the world have it by percentage? So just guess. If you don't know, that's totally fine. But how many people in the world have congenital or even acquired amusia? Because the percentage is accounting for both. Someone says, so basically you're cursed by the genetics gods or by an event. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Gabby says 1%. That's a good guess. Anybody say anything different? We've got, Jeff says 48%. No, Jeff, you are wrong. Angela Moran, 2%. You're close. Bunny says 5. We've got 70%, 3%. Rania, Electa. I'm just going to wait till someone gets it. Okay, we have a winner. Alexandra Hapak says 4%. 4% only of the entire world's population, guys. The world has congenital or acquired amusia. Let me break that down for you a little bit more, okay? I have coached thousands. And when I say thousands, I really do mean thousands of people in my life, okay? Both live and online. I've met some people who struggle with ear training and pitch, but I have never once met a single singer who has actual amusia. And I know you're going to make a joke right now and you're going to type in the chat, I'm the first exception. It's me. Ha ha ha. No, it's not. Okay. It's not funny. It's not you. I know it because I've never met anyone. So I honestly, and please look this up. This is all backed on scientific studies. Okay. I'm not just blowing this up your skirt. All right. I know for a fact that it is not you because I've tested for this. When students have pitch issues of mine, I test for it. And we're going to go through a test actually to prove to you that you do not have it. Okay. And that is why I wanted you to download the Tone Deaf test. So we're getting to that point soon in this webinar where we're going to use that. So if you haven't done so already, if you would be so kind, download, let me zoom my screen again. Download this. It's this one right here, the Tone Deaf test. Can you see it? Right there. Okay. I want you to download that. See, someone said it already. I shall be your first. No, you won't be. And I want you to put in your percentage after we're done with this test so that I can prove you wrong. It's funny to say, like, right? Oh, I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But no, it's not you. I promise it's not you. So pitch, getting back to why we're here, is the cornerstone of singing. I don't know if you guys have seen this YouTube tutorial I made, but it was like basically like the beginner singer's vocal lesson, the only voice lesson you'll ever need. And I talked about the 3 foundations of pitch. And I'm just gonna give you a spoiler alert and tell you what I believe they are based on my experience and my knowledge of vocal pedagogy. And by the way, speaking is a form of singing, just so you know, but the differentiations are these 3 things. Pitch is the very first one, okay? The second is rhythmical timing, because you can sing, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, and it not be on the proper timing of that melody and it not even sound recognizable to that song. I can give you an example. Wrong pitch and wrong timing of Mary had a little lamb sounds like this. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Like, what? What was that? I had 0 sense of pitch, 0 sense of timing, and all of a sudden Mary Had a Little Lamb just became a hot mess that was a non-recognizable song. So pitch is number 1. Rhythmical timing within the context of the song is number 2. And the third, I agree, can be debatable, but to me, I believe that the third foundation of what makes a really great singer is vibrato. Because if I do have pitch and if I do have timing, and I sang Mary Had a Little Lamb, for example, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. That's cute. It's pretty. My pitch is great. My timing is on, right? But do I sound like a singer? Do I sound like an artist? Someone that, you'd want to like buy the record, listen to it on streaming and like repeat it? Probably not. Like it wasn't offensive, but it wasn't like earth shattering either, right? Right. But what if I add vibrato? Then I'm doing, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. So do you hear that little blah, blah, blah? Yep, that little vibrating undulation going on my held notes? That's vibrato. So to me, and I just think I proved it sonically, the 3 foundational elements to singing are pitch, rhythmical timing, and vibrato. So this is the foundation that really all good singers have to build upon. And I believe that even before rhythmical timing and vibrato, you have to deal with pitch. So going back, I want to give you this little overlay. So my face is going to go away for a second, but I want to show you what this amusia looks like on an actual tangible visual basis. So this is our brain, right? And we've got all of these different functions, right, inside what music does to the brain. But if you see the orange in the middle and where it says auditory cortex, which is the second below on the right, second down on the right side of descriptions, you see auditory cortex, which is listens to sounds, perceives and analyzes tones. That you can see is pretty much in the center of the brain in that orange section. And that is exactly where amusia, that cognitive disorder, lives, okay? It's debatable, but it's been said that there has been a small study even to where they took clinically diagnosed people with amusia and they put them through an intense and rigorous ear training study by a trained coach. And in 7 weeks, 4 out of the 5 people that were in it actually did show signs of improvement. So while science and articles do say that it is not a curable, disease, I mean, there have been even proofs in small little case studies that you could even still improve it. So even if you are that one person who says, oh, that's going to be me, and you happen to be, I still call you on it. And I still say, I believe that you can still work on it. Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle. Yeah, it's going to be harder. But if 4 out of 5 people in a small study were able to improve based on ear training and different exercises like I'm going to show you, then that's a lot of hope. It's worth trying, right? Like, why not? So that's just a little bit of a visual for you as far as what goes on in the brain and the little functions. So are we ready to actually sing. Does everybody have the app downloaded? Yeah, type in the chat if you're ready. I hope that I've given you the good directions in enough time. Bree is saying my timing messes with my pitch. I might be timing deaf. Well, that's hilarious. You know, that's actually not a bad point. I'm going to put her question or her comment up on there. If your timing is off, it can mess with the pitch if you're singing with music because the musical chords change. And if you're in a different place than you should be in the melody, you'll be dissonant or off with the chords. So that can be a thing, but the good news is timing is a lot easier to fix than pitch issues. So Bree, your issue isn't as tragic as you think. Okay. All right. Oh, someone is saying the app is not on Android. Okay. So what app can I get? I have an Android, not an iPhone. Oh my gosh, Android users. Okay. So I believe that the tone deaf test is on for both of them. And if not, I know that it's on desktop. So if you go to tonedefttest.com, I'll type that in the chat real quick. tonedefttest.com, or just Google tone deaf test. It will pull up there and you don't have to actually like do it on the app. So I'm really excited for this. Are you ready? All right. So what I want everybody to do is get out the tone deaf test. So press it on. You're going to see this. Okay. Now you're going to, the second option, take the test. You're going to hit that. What I really love about this is that at the end of this test, which only takes a few minutes, you guys are going to get a score on your pitch accuracy. And there's a bunch of different ways it tests it. So if you guys are ready, say you're ready in the chat and we're going to just get going. Now, I want you to know something important. This is not the same test for everyone. So what you're going to hear me do is not most likely what you're going to have. If it is, that's a coincidence. So when you do this, like, don't necessarily listen to me, but go ahead and start. I'm not really going to go through it for real on mine because I don't want my sound to mess with yours, but I will give you an example. So in stage A, it gives you this example. 2 notes are the same and it asks you to listen to them. Let me turn up my volume here, which is not on. Hear that? And hear that. So it's asking you to discern, are those 2 notes the same? And you click yes or no. Example 2, these notes are different. Do you hear that they're different? Okay, so that's kind of the tonality that you're going to be hearing, the sound of the notes. Press OK, and I want you to begin. So go ahead and take this test. I'm going to kind of go through mine as we do it, but I'm going to turn my sound down. And it's asking, are these notes the same or different? Now mine are different. I hear it. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to put different. And then it's going to take you through these different stages. I'm going to just kind of pretend that I'm answering them so I can tell you preemptively what's coming next. So you have, let's see. You have a bunch of different, are these notes the same or different questions? Okay, you go all the way up to 12. You get 12 questions of whether the notes are same or different, and you put same or different depending on what you hear. Then in stage B, there's also an example. And this is notes going ascending or descending. So you have to listen to your ear. Does the note start low and go high? Or does the note start high and go low? Here's an example. What is that? Starts low and it goes high. Here's an example of another going high to low. Hear that? High to low, low to high, high to low. Okay. Look at this. Someone says this is wild, so I'm not tone deaf. You see, I've been saying this. How many times do I have to say this? I'm so glad and grateful for this app, which, by the way, I'm making no money off of. It's not mine, and I'm not getting an endorsement for it. I just use it because I like that it's free, and I like that you get a measurable percentage of your progress out of it. Okay, so let's see. Someone's saying I'm watching from the phone, so I can't pull it up. Oh, well, then use your laptop. Use a desktop. So you're going to get these up and down questions, right? And I think you'll probably get a series of them probably around the same. Let's see. How many questions do you get? Yeah, so you get 12 of those as well. And then for whoever's on stage C, okay, Then you're going to see if you can tell which note is higher. And you have to discern which note is higher and then which note is lower. You press OK, you go through the test. Again, they do kind of trick you and change the sound, like it'll be like or bling, just to see if your ear hears different timbres of tone differently, which is super cool. So, all right, as you guys are finishing up, I'm sure you're going through it. And if you guys are finished already, go to your, now I just pressed stuff, so don't think that I got a 52 for real. But if you got a 52, that's totally fine. I've just had practice with this. So tell me, I want to hear everybody's score. Everybody that's on this right now, if you got through it, roll call. Tell me your percentage right now. I am so interested in seeing. I am thrilled. You guys, 100, 97, 100, 100. 88. Yes, keep going. Whoa, 100. Yes, 100. 94. 100. 100. Yay, Mimi. 97 for Mimi. Oh, the scroll's going so far. 97 for Melody. Jared, 100. Maggie, 100. Oh my gosh. Now, out of those of you guys who are finishing, Marie, 94. So good. Nick's chick, 100. This is amazing. This is so good. Okay. Are you shocked that you did so well? Yes or no in the comments. Are you shocked? I am actually shocked that this workshop is on pitch. You guys are all here to, okay, if you're still doing it, that's fine, by the way. Just keep going. Like, you know, don't pay attention to me for a second. Pay attention to the pitch. But are you surprised that you came on to a workshop for pitch and your score is really that high? Not surprised? Not surprised? I see a lot of people that are surprised or that are not surprised that they got that score. Knowing you giving the test, I'm shocked. Okay. Let's see. See, most of you are not surprised. That's amazing. Okay. Now, I know the thought in your mind right now is, well, I got a really good score on that. Like I'm still getting 100s, 97s, 94s in the chat. That's so good. All right. 100 and I'm not really surprised. Awesome, Haley. So I know that you're thinking, okay, well, that wasn't so hard, even though I did notice that I had to be tested on my pitch in different ways and in different tones. Fair enough. And then the question becomes, well, what do I do then about singing it? Because I was just hearing it. Here's where this next exercise comes in. If you can hear it though, you can sing it. And that's why we did that first. I'm not surprised either that you guys got such high scores. So I want you to remember your high score when we go to the piano right now and we're about to sing actually with our voices and not just hear pitch with our ear. Chloe, yes, we're about to sing right now. So I want you guys to get out the second app, okay? Here we go. This one, the pitch exercise one, the pitch one, that one, okay? If you're on an Android, just get another one that's a pitch tuner. It doesn't have to be this exact one, but check out what happens when I'm talking, okay? This is a really great tool because it's going to tell you if you're green, it's in the center of the pitch. If you are below and in red or orange, you are flat. If you are above in red or orange, you are sharp, okay? So I want you to get out a pen and a paper, okay? And I want you to write down these notes. Actually, let's just do it by number. So I want you to write 1 through 10, okay? 1 through 10 on the paper. Do that for me, or you can do it on your phone too. But the name of the app is Pitch or Pitch Tuner-Metronome. A lot of people say, oh, I love the app. Yay, I'm glad you love the app. I do too. I use it all the time. It looks like this on the inside, but there are many like this. You don't have to use this exact one, all right? So, but let's do this. We're gonna go to the piano here. Tell me if you can hear this. Can you hear it all right? Yeah? Okay. Yep, hearing good? Feeling good? Great. All I need you to do is sing on and off for me. But you're gonna hold this in front of you, okay? And I'll hold mine out so that you can see it while I'm doing it. And you're going to hold the note for 3 seconds and see where you land. The goal is to land by the end of the 3 seconds in the middle of the green. That is our goal, okay? If you do, then you put next to the number 1, P for pitch, okay? You're on pitch. If you land on the upper part like this, then you put S for sharp. If you land on the lower part like this, that part down there, trying to make it go down, then you put F for flat. So P for on pitch, S for sharp, F for flat. You number it. You're going to start with the 1, and we're going to sing on an ah. Are you ready? And. See how it goes right in the center for that C? That's what we want our voices to do. Ah. It's a very sensitive app, okay? So you saw how it even went up, down for me, and then kind of collapsed in the middle. This is called pitch tuner, guys, and I'll show you. This is what it looks like right here. That one. Can you see it? That's what it looks like, okay? But it doesn't have to be this exact one, all right? So we're gonna go back to it. Tell me how you do. I'm not gonna sing that one because I already did. Now you sing 1, 2, 3 on that note. Okay, where'd you land? Put it down. P for pitch, F for flat, S for sharp. We're moving on to another note. And you can write in the chat too what you are, P, S, or F, or you could say nailed it if you want to be like Corey there. Okay, another one. I love all the P's that I'm seeing. This is so good. This is so good. You guys are already ready for tomorrow. I can tell. This is so good. Okay, let's take it up a notch with the range. Make the range a little more difficult because when range on an extreme high or low is in play, it's also more difficult to be on pitch. So let's do this. In chest if you can. Tell me what you got. Good. We're going to go low now, more extreme low. Sing it. Yes, guys, you're killing it. That was pretty flat for me. I do well on the lows. It likes the timbre of my voice on those ones. I'm seeing so many P's. That's good. Are you guys ready? I wasn't gonna do this today, but you guys are doing so well that okay. Actually, Catherine, I see that you were an F. You were an F on the last one we did. So if you're someone like Catherine, and thanks for being honest, where you're flat, here's something I want you to do. I want you to raise your eyebrows, raise your cheekbones, and point up just a little bit. So let's do that F again. Try that, Catherine, and see if that did any better for you. Going up with your eyebrows and your finger. You're thinking highlight bright, not low, deep, and thick. And see if you can get a P instead of an F on that one. I see some people that are sharp too. So me, you said that you were sharp. For women, if you're singing that low and it's really hard for you to hit, it could be that it's at the end of your range, which the fix for that is expanding your range with a lot of vocal exercises that go low and increasing that vocal technique and range capacity on the way down in your range. So if I'm at the end of my range, I go sharp too, because, well, I'm at the end of my low range. What do you expect? But if it's not at the end of your range and you're just simply sharp, then you can also do this. When you're thinking, I'm sharp, you want to be lower, deeper, thicker. So instead of point down, think lower, deeper, thicker. Okay, good. Yeah, this is a challenge. That's right. Tara, I just matched your pitch. That's great. That's good. Matching pitches is also really helpful too. Okay. I know I wasn't going to do this today, but since you guys are doing so well, what do you say we do multiple notes? Okay. I'm not going to do the exercise we're doing tomorrow. That's still a very special one. And it's so fun. Oh my gosh. I love the one for tomorrow. However, I think we can do some multiple notes here. Are you guys down for that? Can we do like up to 3 notes and test our pitch on 3 notes instead of just 1? Tell me. Are you guys down? Are you up for the challenge? Yeah? Okay, this was great. Elizabeth said, I was flat and that worked. Wait, where is it? I want to put that on the, yeah. Elizabeth said, I was flat and that worked. That's so good. That's awesome. Good. Okay. Someone said a good question. How to know without looking at the pitch app? Is it just repetition? So remember what I talked about those neural pathways and training your brain? This is the same for your ear. Although the ear doesn't have a brain inside of it with neural pathways, it does have muscle memory and recognition. So when you do this looking at your pitch, it reinforces both by sight and sound the way that your voice needs to mechanically phonate or sing in order to hit that over and over again with consistency. So looking at it and singing and reinforcing what it sounds like, how it feels, and where it is in the pitch is exactly how you will then no longer eventually need the app later on. So this is the training wheels. It's just like riding a bike. You don't just immediately take the training wheels off. You wait, then you take one wheel off at a time. So that would be the equivalent of looking away and then saying to yourself, I think I'm on pitch. Let me check. Oh, good. I'm in the green. Yes, that worked, right? That's the equivalent of taking that one wheel off. And then eventually you don't need this anymore. You take the other wheel off and you're good to go. That was a really good question. I'm glad you asked that. Okay. So let's do 3 notes. Are we ready? You guys good? You guys good? Yes? Okay, good. Let's do 3 notes. I'm gonna hold mine out. But the thing is, we wanna hold them still for 3 seconds so that the app can calibrate our pitch. All right, so we're gonna do this. See what you got. Try it. Good. So this is interesting, and this is what I expect. Gabby says, when I initially start the note, the first nanosecond, it's flat, but then it's on pitch. Gabby, you and I both, woman, okay? The app is extremely sensitive. Remember back at the beginning of the webinar when I said we give ourselves in our ear in live time a lot of allowance for pitch and for being on pitch? It's because we tune things based on how we want to hear them. But the app is totally digital, it's robotic, and it does not do that. So it only measures based on 100% accuracy. Nobody, including me, is going to start right on a note exactly on pitch, just because the breaking into the sound barrier alone from silence into sound creates that dissension, and then it levels out. Didn't know if you know that, but that's a fact. So when you go to hear, it's hearing that breakthrough of the sound barrier and then recalibrating, but it is picking that up in there. So even though you're like, wait, that whole thing was on pitch. Yeah, it was to our naked ear. But when we're trying to really tune in and dial into pitch, this is really what you want to use. So don't get discouraged if it's always a little pitchy at first and then it flattens out. As long as it flattens out eventually, that's what you want. Good. Gilbert John, same thing. At first I was off and then it went on pitch. That's great. Okay, Selena, I missed one and got the other 2 on pitch. Okay, if you missed the first one and you got on pitch, then the next time you do something like that, you need to think of that first note in your head before you sing it, which means I'm thinking before I go The reason that you were on pitch for the other 2 notes is because you were already going. Your voice was like, oh, we're singing now, so sing the melody. But starting from nothing, it's like a writer looking at a blank page on the screen. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I say? But as soon as that first sentence is written, all of a sudden it flows. Same thing with our voice and with notes. As soon as that first note is created out of that sound barrier, it's so much easier to continue on the others. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Good, Gabby. I'm glad. All right. Okay, so wrapping up today, here's how I want you to prep for tomorrow. I'm going to have another question in the poll. So if you can show up a little early and answer the question before we go live, that would be great. When we come tomorrow, you also want to have that pitch tuner up and available. It would also be really cool to save time if you went ahead, those of you who did not get 100% on the tone deaf test, if you practice this, like rewind this, listen to the replay of the little pitch exercise that we did, practice this, and then did the tone deaf test again and see if you could increase your score for tomorrow. If you did, write it in the chat. I'll be interested in seeing it. And I'm just gonna quickly scroll through also just to answer a couple questions. This is a decent one. Do you think you have to develop the muscle memory both in chest and head, or does our body do it by itself? That's actually not a decent question. It's a great question. If you only develop your pitch in your chest voice, it will, by kind of somewhat osmosis, carry through into your head voice. However, the mechanism in our larynx to sing in head voice is different. The things that your voice needs and the place that your voice needs to spin when it goes into head voice is different from, say, that of chest voice. And so you'll notice that if you're constantly curling, so to speak, that chest range register, and you go to sing on pitch in the head, it will be more wobbly because that register is a little more atrophied. It's not that your ear is atrophied, it's that that register is atrophied. And so the placement for you to hit notes on is not secure. You haven't figured that out yet. So I do recommend doing pitch exercises like we're doing all across your range. And we're going to do more across the range tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm just gonna give you a little bit to look forward to. We're gonna do one of my favorite exercises on pitch tomorrow called pitch memory. It's cumulative and it is a contest, okay? So be ready tomorrow, put your vocal thinking caps on, because I have to tell you, this makes me like so excited. I have had students who've tried this for up to a year, and they are up to like the upper 20s in repetition. And you may not know what that means yet, but you will tomorrow. So I'm so happy that you guys joined me today. Make sure that if you are just joining us live, that you click in the description and register in that link that I posted so that you get reminders of the webinar tomorrow and on Friday, as well as you're registered then automatically for a very special little gift from me to you at the end of Friday for joining and being such a great participant. I love you guys. I'm so proud of you. This was so much fun. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. If you found value in it, by the way, please share it with a friend and ask them to join. This is completely free. There's no strings attached. I'm just doing this because I have a mandate to pour out into those who are willing to listen, to tell you that you are not stuck in not being able to sing, that you can sing on pitch, that your voice does need to be heard. There's only one of you. And most importantly, and from the bottom of my heart, your voice matters. I'll see you guys tomorrow.